Like I was saying, when it comes to banking, usually it's all about recording the cash movements. Remember from our past module or our previous module from the first semester, we used to have the cash book receipts and the cash book payments, meaning the cash receipts journal and the cash payments journal. So when we talk about banking, it's all about the cash and cash equivalent, if I can call it like that. So we've been talking about that. Just to recap on that, guys. Here, as you can see, we've got banking, and I think at the moment we know how to add. I just want to recap a bit. We know how to add a new bank account or credit card. I'm just going to click just to check if we still remember, because I know we had a weekend where we celebrated rugby and things like that. But at the end of the day, this is where you can include new banking details. So you've got another bank. Let's say you have got an ABSA bank. You can come here and put, as you can see here, we've got ABSA bank, and you can even check the categories. Remember, we had to add these categories before. You're not surprised. The bank name, the account number. So all this depends on the information that you are going to be given. So at the moment, we know how to add new accounts. Any question? No problem. And again, we know how to use the list. I think if I want to know the list of accounts which I have so far, we had list of accounts, the ones that we added so far. If I click there, you can see that already we have got 2 accounts which we added. We added Cyclas Pty as the name, and the bank name is what? Is National Bank. And we also had what we call the petty cash. This is what we added. So if you want to add more, you can still come here and add. It's up to you. Can you see now? So you can be able to add more. And again, from the list, obviously, we had to add categories. You and I know how to add the categories. So you can categorize your banks. So let's see how does it look like. These are the categories which we added. We added check. Our national bank was a check account, and then obviously petty cash. We just said petty cash. We can even say cash. So categorizing helps a lot, especially if you've got different types of accounts. Remember, we've got savings accounts, we've got check accounts, we've got transmission accounts, so you can put them according to the categories, and we know how to do that. We also spoke about the quick entry rules. Who can tell me what is what did we say about the quick entry rules? I remember we spoke about this when we did with the demo. Ne? So again here we did talk about it under the real account. Remember I said sometimes it's better for you to record information in advance so that next time you can save time. Let's say, for example, think about me as Sylvester. Ne? So obviously, if I have to record Sylvester as one of my customers, for example, the minute I put Sylvester, I'll tell the system to say, if I record Sylvester, immediately the other information must be reflected. Let's say the account number must automatically come, the surname must automatically come, for example. You understand what I mean? So by the quick entry rules, it means the minute I put a particular name, the other information must come along with that particular name. Like, for example, if you can check here, you can enter the name of payee, the person that you are going to pay. Remember here, the payee represents both the receipt and the payment. So if you pay someone, we use payee. If we receive money from someone, we're gonna still use what? Payee. But under our accounting that we did first semester, we use the word details. I think for me it's better to use details because details can either be you pay or you receive. But if you say someone is a payee, they will think like, okay, we only record the people that we pay. No, the system here also caters for those who are going to receive. And you can also set description for that particular payee. You can also select the account. Remember, when it comes to the account, we can select whether someone is an account or a customer, supplier, transfer. By the transfer, it means if you want to transfer between the bank and the petty cash, if you are paying VAT when it comes to SARS. So you can choose depending on the description or the payee type. Okay. You can also go and check the selection there. You can select the account. Remember here we've got different general ledger accounts. I think you're not surprised when it comes to this. We learned this before. So you can even put this in advance so that next time when you pull up that particular page, you automatically have this information. You can even choose whether this is vettable or not. Can you see we've got different types of vets here? You can change and according to your preference. So you can tell the system to have specific information when you record. So that is what we call what? We call it, once again, we call them what? Quick entry rules. Okay. And we also spoke about bank statement mapping. Let me click there. Bank statement mapping. Remember we spoke about importing the information, obviously. We can import the bank statement. But again, if you don't remember, if you have to import the bank statement, it means you download it. By the way, which file must the bank statement be CSV format? So it means you download and you import. But there's another function whereby you don't have to download. Ne? It's like you are linking your bank account with the system. So the bank statement will be automatically imported to what? To a system. So when your bank account has got that information, the bank account automatically what? Update the system. We call it bank feeds. Does that make sense? But this is you have to arrange with the bank for that. You don't have to download anything. The system will automatically update. But what do we mean by say bank statement mapping rules? In other words, you can tell the system and say, if you see this certain weight on the bank statement, this is where you must record. For example, let's say you are paying telephone. So when the system sees telephone there, it automatically goes and record what? And for telephone for you. Can you see now? So that is called, you can map the bank statement in such a way that the communication between the bank account and the system is understandable. They understand each other. So you map, you tell it what to know. Because obviously the system doesn't know the bank statement, but you can tell it when you see this and this. If you see Sylvester, just know that Sylvester is paying telephone. So the system will automatically go to Sylvester and record under what? Telephone for you. Are we together? So that is what we mean by saying what? Bank statement mapping. Can you see now? Again, you can tell, you can choose here whether it's an account, you're mapping an account, customer, supplier, and then the selection again, like we said, you can select where it falls here, whether it's VAT, on the bank statement, what you want to see, which, let's say telephone, you write telephone here, the person that you're going to pay, something like that, and then description and things like that. Can you see now? So you can be able to map your bank statement against yours and in line with what? With your system. So we spoke about these things. Remember, I'm just recapping, guys. Yeah, we did that. And then we also went to banking. I think banking is the one that we just, I think we've been busy with. If I click on banking there, so we've done this. As you can see here, if you try to click here, you can check here. If you try to click here, you won't be able to click. Who can tell me what is the reason? Can you see now? I can't record anything. What must I do first so that I can have access to this row? Because at the moment I can do whatever. The row is not active. What do you think I must do? Okay, let me rescue after the win, because rugby won. You just have to first go up there. Let's go up there. Can you see now? You must first select the account that you want to deal with. In our case, we have been dealing with what? Cyclas PTY. Can you see now? The minute you do that, can you see now? This column is active. In your case, you are still having what? Transactions, né? Are you still having a transaction there on your screen? So for me, I don't have because already I reviewed, but I'm going to show you how to review. Can you see now? So if you can check here, you can add whatever you want to add. But I can add new transactions, but for me now, In your case, you're going to have some transactions because you did not review. So what I want us to do, do you also have the transactions there, like him? I want us to review them. In other words, we want to process them. Can you see at the bottom there's something called review, select review? Can you see where it says mark selected as review? But you can also say mark all as review because we want to review everything. So just mark all as reviewed. Everything disappeared. I'm telling you, next time when you come back and open that window, you won't see those transactions anymore because you mark them as reviewed. What must you do? You go and click reviewed. Go and say reviewed. You will see those transactions that you just, are you seeing them? So those transactions will be there. So you just have to go and say reviewed transactions. For me, don't worry, I don't have anything because already I reconciled. I'm still going to tell you about reconciling. Are we together? So you must go to review and click what you reviewed. Or if you want to add a new one, you must come here and add a new one here. It's up to you. Can you see now? And then you save the changes. So when you click as review, it means the information has been processed. Okay. Yeah. So any question about how to record? I think recording we have recorded before we know how to record. So what I want to show you now, I want to show you how to reconcile. There's something called bank reconciliation statement. Have you ever heard about it before? Remember, when you're going next year, you're gonna go and enroll for your BCom. You'll be doing what you call the accounting 1B. There's a section called bank reconciliation statement. In a nutshell, a bank recon is like, for example, you've got a bank account. You've got a bank account. Sometimes when you spend, I know ladies, you normally do that. Do you write things down? You don't. But obviously, in business, whatever you spend, like that's why we've got this system, which is called Sage. We record whatever we receive, whatever we pay. At the end of the day or end of the month, it doesn't matter. We must have a bank statement and check what we have in our books. So if I spend 10,000 here, I want to see 10,000 on what? On the bank statement. In that way, I'm reconciling. Okay, I see 10,000 on the bank statement. I see 10,000 on my books. So by checking the bank statement against our books, by the books, I'm referring to the cash book payments, cash book receipts. We call them cash book. So I'm checking whether they appear in both sides. Because if I pay, obviously money must come out of my account. I'm talking about the transactions which went through the bank account. So by reconciling, it means we check everything against what? The bank statement. So what is in our books? This is my book, for example. I check on my books and I check the bank statement. I tick whatever I tick. So whatever I don't tick, I call it a difference. I must reconcile it. So I want us to go click where it says reconcile bank. Click with me so that you can see. At the moment, do you see anything on your screen? What do you think is the reason for not having anything? Because already we've got transactions, we know. What can be the main reason why? The same reason, guys, that I told you about. Let's go and select what? Our bank. So if you select our bank there, obviously you need to see that. But if you don't see that, remember our transactions when we record. Remember that day when we recorded transactions. What was the first transaction that we recorded? What was the date? I remember it was the 1st of what? March 2023. So let's go and say the date there. From, I'm going to change it. Where it says from there, I'm going to change it to be what? March. 1st of March. Can you see now? And I'm going to say yes. So can you see it will bring all those transactions there? It will bring those transactions. Just say yes. You will see it's going to bring all those transactions. Are you there? Check the date again where it says from. Just put the first. First, you must go and check select your bank account on top, which is Cyclas. And then there's a date on the right from. Can you see that? 1st 03/2023. So you must have this transaction. Unless if your dates were different. So unless if your dates were different. So when we just go back to your transactions and check the first transaction that you recorded. What was your date? Go back to banking. Up there and say transactions. Banking transactions and say reviewed. Check the reviewed transactions. Where are you reviewed? So have you ever saved before you reviewed? Let me come and check because you need to have something there. So let's see. Go to banking. In other words, you're lost. So when you were there before you reviewed, did you say changes? And then you reviewed everything. You come there. Oh, maybe just a system problem because they were supposed to show you. Unless you put them under a different account, just check. Maybe check by mistake. Let's check it. Let's say you check infusions. No, you got price okay. Let's do you have them? Yeah, you have all the them. Okay. So yeah, maybe they didn't say. So it means when you're at home, you can go and record them. So now you can just look at my screen just for more information. You can open your bank account there. So these are go back to bank record. You must see something like this. This is the bank record. Now remember I said when it comes to the bank record, is when you compare your bank statement and your cash books. But by the way, what are the cash books? There are two of them. Name them. Name cash books for me. Cash book payments, cash book receipts. Which one is the inflow? Which one is the outflow of cash? Outflow payment, receipts. Perfect. So if you're having a bank statement, it means bank statement also has got inflows and outflows. So you check them. So the minute you find that the amount is appearing in the books at the same appearing on the bank statement, can you see, check this column. What is this column called? You click here, for example, if all of them here have been, I found them, I'm gonna click them like this. Can you see that? Just like this, simple. But I'll be checking manually, remember. But what I like, remember we said you can import from the bank account. Remember you can import information then, the bank statement. So if you import, all these ticks will be here for, can you see? You don't have to do the recon anymore. You will see these ticks. Can you see those ticks? I just put them. But if you imported information, these ticks will be there already because already the information comes from what? The bank statement. There's no need for you to check. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you see yourself having to do the ticks at the moment, it means you record information yourself. But those who imported information there, it will mean that these ticks will be here automatically. It means the system has automatically reconciled for you because we imported. I don't know if you've got that file under VC then which we imported. When we imported before, were you here? Did we import together? So if you can access that file, I can quickly show you what I mean there. So this is how you reconcile. By clicking here, it means reconciling. So whatever you don't click, it means it's not reconciled. Okay. So the system will be automatically reconciled. But at the moment, I'm not gonna reconcile everything. I'm not gonna save anything. So I'm just showing you how to reconcile. So I hope everyone understands how to reconcile.